of course, this is one of the most important summits. I mean, it's an annual summit where men come together just to hold each other accountable, really, and more than anything, also motivate each other and see how they can coexist with women in society. I mean, the stats are very clear that women are being killed, children are being killed, women are being raped, children are being raped. And when you look at the courts or when you look at the perpetrators, usually it is men. When we were speaking to some of the men that are here, they were saying that the status quo really needs to change. And this can only happen if men speak to each other. Dr. John Kani even said that the reality of this matter is that men only listen to other men. So platforms such as this are important, where men can call each other out, men can hold each other to account for their actions. And I must say, they are seeing this as their safe space. Even inside, women were not allowed to listen to some of the discussions because they are saying that most men, one thing they are afraid of is to be heard by women or to share some of their vulnerability with others in society. And I think this platform for them is important because they are able to open up and maybe talk about their fears, their anxieties. I mean, when you also look at the stats of suicide also, men tend to succeed to die by suicide more than women, and mainly because they use aggressive methods. And speakers here were saying, among other things, is that men have nowhere to talk. Men have traumas that they cannot deal with, but it does not excuse them. And that is one thing that is clear even in this summit, that there is no excuse for any behavior. But Griselda, I just want to bring in some of the men that are here. This is the spokesperson of EmpowaMen, which is the organization basically hosting this in Randburg today. Joshua, thank you so much for your time. We are seeing men from across the country coming here. Why is it important to host such conversations with men?
Thank you for having us. I think in 2019, when there was the narrative that says men are trash, we felt we can't just sit down. We need to respond, and respond positively. And just to say to men, why are we here? Why women and children are suffering because of us? So that's why then we said, let's at this summit, where it's a non-judgmental space. It's a space where men can be vulnerable. It's a space where men can open up. And I've seen many men beginning to open up through the intervention, because we also have other organizations that deals with men, which deals with issues of GBV, counseling, mental health, physical, whatever that men go through. So for us, it was important that we have this. But it is a space where we want to ignite fire in men, especially those who are in the corridors of power, so that they can go back where they have an influence and start this conversation with their fellow men and call them out and says, we can't continue like this. We can't make other people to suffer because of us as men. So that's why we have this conference, so that let's have men to talk about things that matter to men.
And Joshua, if we speak about this also, this summit started as far back as 2019. And since then, we are still not seeing some change when we look at outside. Because I was even saying to you earlier on, when you look at the stats for rape, they've increased to some 9,000 now. So have you seen any changes, I mean, since 2019, based on this summit where you are speaking to other men?
Yeah, I think for me, what is important, we're turning the tide. This has been like this for many years, so it can't have a miracle overnight. But this, we just, as I said, want to ignite the conversation, want men to begin to talk. But we begin to see men coming out that says, I'm an abuser, I'm broken, I need help. You know, it is those pockets of individuals that are coming out. But also we use those individuals to speak to other men and says, I was an abuser and this ended me in prison, or I've lost my family because of that. But we are seeing change really in many men.
Thank you so much for your time there, Joshua. Of course, Joshua just cleared that this space will be safe for men. And you must remember, Griselda, also, this could also come from how society deems young boys more than anything, or the idioms that are used like men don't cry. And in this space, you are seeing men becoming vulnerable and opening up about their own challenges and how they would also like to change their own lives. But also, I just want to add how earlier on, the men who were speaking to us were even saying that now it's time to actually teach the boy child not to be the one that harasses the girl child, because what is happening in households is that the girl child will be the one that is told not to wear a mini skirt, not to act like this and that. But when it's a boy child, nothing happens. But when you look at the problem could be solved if the boy knew how to act in society and knew how to coexist with other people in society.